Hello everyone, how is everyone doing today? Welcome to question time. Question time, why does it sound really weird? There you go. Oh, so let's start again. Why does it... This sounds weird, hold on. Am I coming okay, coming through clearly for you guys? Seems weird in my head, hold on. I assume everything's coming through nice and clear. Sounds a bit weird in my head, but maybe it's something wrong with the mic. Ah, there we go, that's why. The volume was down on the old thingy bob. Let's rewind and do that again. Hello and welcome to Question Time. Question Time is a live stream we do every Wednesday when I am actually able to do it. And in this live stream we answer your questions over the next hour, all about game development, Unreal Engine 4, or in fact anything else you really want. So up to you. This is your time to ask any question you like, and all you have to do is put your question into chat and ask away, and I'll try and pick as many as I can, answer as many as I can within the hour we have. If I don't catch your question straight away, don't fret, just put it in there again, but please try to refrain from spamming. If anything, that's going to just turn me off from actually answering your question. So common sense would help. Before we do get started, I want to say thank you to all my patrons for their continued support. It really is amazing. Thank you so much. And if you want to be a patron, you can get hold of all of my videos before everyone else, including the archives of all the live streams before everyone else as well, all from just $1. Also, if you want a one-to-one session or consultation or private tutoring, there are slots available for July still. So if you want that, please let me know via email via support@ryanlady.com. That's support@ryanlady.com. So I think we'll just jump in, shall we? Let's go into here. Okay, so where are we? Let's have a look at chat. Hello everyone. Hello Meg Twin, Sean Becker, Fractured Vision. Hello everyone. Hello. Okay. Sean Baker, I was wondering, for the weapons in Unreal, is it possible to send out a line trace and detect the impact angle and use that to change the direction of the impact particle effect? Yes, totally can. So what you're looking at there is impact normal. So I'll try and recreate that as quick as I can right now. So I'm going to change that from spawning a projectile to doing a line trace. As quick as I can. Get the location of the camera. Put that in there. Get forward vector of the camera. Multiply that by 2000 and add them together. And we'll do vector plus vector and put that in there. Okay, next we'll make a particle effect. Let's make a quick one. So I'm going to go into effects, Niagara system, empty, finish, impact, VFX. And we go in here. And we're going to add an emitter. We'll do a completely empty one. And on here we'll render the sprite render. Use a default sprite particle. Is this one? No. No. Can never remember which one it bloody hell is. Well, you know what I'll do? What'll be better and quicker is I go empty, not completely empty. There we go. And we'll do emitter spawn. No, not emitter spawn. Emitter update, and do burst. And we'll hang on. Wait for it to catch up. There you go. And we'll burst 3 out. Why not? And we'll tell them to go in velocity. And the we'll do it in the update actually. The computer's not liking it today. Okay, so on add velocity, I want to add velocity in the X here to, I don't know, 50. And we want to have the solve forces and velocity on there too. Okay, so X is forward, so make sure you use X. That's the main thing. We'll do a bit faster, 500. And we'll make it last only like 0.5 seconds. Like that. I'll size it non-uniform, and in the X we'll do 100, and in the Y we'll do 30. Yeah, like a little beam. Let's get it a bit faster. Let's do it to 1000. And we'll make it rotate towards its velocity. So we go down the facing camera to facing. No, alignment, sorry. Alignment is velocity aligned. And I've got that random way. So let's go back to here. And that would be 30 and that'd be 100. There you go. As long as you're going in the X direction, that's what matters most. Do that. Then on our player character, when we land a shot, we're going to spawn the system at location, and we'll do this only when we have a blocking hit. Put that there. On true, we'll choose our impact, and use out hit and break that. So you want it to rotate based on the angle of the impact. So that's going to come from the impact normal, and you do that make rot from X. Now turn the X direction into a rotator, which then you plug into the rotation. Location is pretty simple, be location like that, and scale we'll leave as 111, and that should do it. So now when I shoot it, the line should come out, and it should come out based on where we hit. Hold on, let's make it not loop first of all. Emitter, state, self, once, okay, and you also want it to be local space as well. That's what I forgot. So on the emitter properties, tick local space. And that way it will use the X direction of its local rather than the world. So now it should ignore everything I just said. Why are you doing that? I did use impact normal, didn't I? Yeah, impact normal. Oh, it's got the line trace. Oh, shite, yeah. Crap. To do that then, rather than use impact normal, you use start and end traces here. And you do the direction between that, and then put that in there. And that will make it bounce back at the player. We can't see it because it's bouncing back at the player. But if I were to make rot from the Y instead, maybe not Y, from the Z. And so now it's bouncing like opposite. I think. No, probably have to rotate it. Combine it with, I don't know, 90. You have to be a lot clever than that to work out the actual angle, but so there it is bouncing 90 degrees extra from where I'm hitting it. But obviously, again, you have to do a lot more clever math than we can work out today. I'm not that clever at maths at this time of night. But yeah, essentially, as long as the VFX is going in the X coordinate, that's what matters most. But it gives you a starting point anyway. You have to find out the exact way of working out the angle of rotation based on this direction. Yeah, if you want to reflect off it perfectly, that is. Anyway, let's take a look at somewhere else we got. Can you, Bartos says, quick question. Hey Ryan, can you briefly explain what's the difference between make rote from X and make rote from Y? Johnny, what's the difference between all and make rote from nodes? Okay, so if you've got, the actor forward vector. So the forward vector, if you don't know, is the X coordinate direction. So whatever way is X is that's the forward vector. That's why in here you have a little arrow pointing the X coordinate. Okay, that's the forward vector. Forward is X. If you want to turn that into, so this is what we call a direction. Okay, this is a normalized value, which is a direction. If you want to convert that to a rotator, you want to say, I want to make this a rotation using X as the forwards facing rotation. So that's where make rot from X means. And that's why we use that one the most, because we're mostly using forward vector to work out rotations. So it's saying X is going forwards, therefore make rot from X, as if that is going forwards. And what the others do, different directions, they basically saying, use these coordinates as the forward facing direction and work out the rotation based on that forward facing direction. That is what make rot from X is doing. It's basically turning a normalized direction vector into a rotator. Hopefully that helps, Bartosus. Most of the time you're using make rot from X. That's the most common one you're going to use. Okay, let's find another question. Ryan Lady, question from X Draco. Is it possible to score points EQS system that are in the player's field of view? Make the bot approach behind the player's back. Yes, I'll show you that right now. So first of all, we need an EQS testing pawn. Let's make a new folder to keep all this all in. And get a quick testing pawn. Drag that out. And I need a nav mesh as well. And we'll just increase the size of that. Okay, so our testing pawn is here. Let's make the EQS. Okay, so the EQS here, we need a context for the player character, so let's make it the context for that. Make the environment query context, and we call it player context. And in here on the functions, I'm going to override a single actor, get actor of class, and choose the first person character as a shortcut. There we go. So on the environment query, we're going to generate. I don't have to type in generate. I don't know what I'm doing. And then do grid, for example. And we'll do 1000, but do every 250 around the querier. So if I actually do it around the player character, that way you can see it properly. So if I apply that now to our EQS testing pawn, there are points generating around the player character. So let's do the tests. So the test you want to look at is the dot. So you take dot, and you want to take score it, didn't you? So score, line A is going to be the player's rotation, so you want to take the player's rotation, the player context. Line B is going to be the other direction that you want to compare it against. In that case, I want it to be from the player's point of view towards the individual items. So line from will be player, line 2 will be item, and we're checking in the 3D space. I'm going to hit save. And what you see now is all the points in front of the player are valued between 1. So the ones directly in front of the player are 1. And as they go round, they get lower and lower and lower until they turn to nothing. And that's how you can score the ones in front of you. If you want to do it the other way around, so they score the ones behind the player, you can change the scoring equation from linear to inverse linear. And what will happen now is the points behind the player are going to be more valuable, meaning the AI will choose a point behind the enemy. So if you want your enemy to always try and get behind the player, this is how you do it. Okay, so you can see how the dot there is taking the rotation of the player character and the direction between the player and the points, and working out whether or not it is scored high or low. Hopefully that helps, X-Draco, and answers your question. You can also do like filters with range and things like that, but there you go. Robert Rohrer. I noticed people complaining about displacement not being a thing anymore, but does it really matter when you can convert to a mesh and nanite it? Okay, so nanite will stop the use of displacement. Displacement displacement still has its uses in the sense that you can, rather than model and sculpt the landscape, you can use a texture to displace it. So you can still use displacement as part of the mesh, but I don't know how that's going to impact nanite. It probably doesn't actually impact it at all. But yeah, nanite is going to replace things like that, so you don't really need it anymore. As it's a lot easier to just do the actual model in the first place. Previously, what you do is you sculpt the model, make a lower base one, and then you map the displacement map, bake it from the high poly to the low poly, and you got displacement. But that's no longer needed because you can just use the high poly model. Yeah. Side question: do you think Udemy C++ class is worth it? I have no idea. I've never taken it. Maybe. Ain't got a clue. Anonymous, hey Ryan, I have an issue and I was wondering if you could help me. So when I add atmospheric fog, all the movable actors don't get affected by shadows. Thank you, I love your video. Okay, let's take a look at that. Let's add atmospheric fog. Is there something there already actually? There is. So you're adding atmospheric fog. All the movable actors don't get affected by shadows. By affected, do you mean they cast shadows or get lit by shadows? Because these are movable. See? And if I put this in the shadow here. Yeah, so you won't get it like this because these lights are baked. If you make the lights movable, then that won't have that issue. So if I go here, change to movable lights, this will now get lit and shadow casted on top of it, like there. See, you can see the shadow going onto it. Because the baking of the lights is happening, it's stopping the texture won't receive any shadows in that particular way anyway, unless you've got like ray casting or lumen or whatever you're doing. So yeah, if you want it to have shadows, you need to have movable lights in place. Not stationary. Let's go to the light again. Where is it? There it is. And you'll have to bake the lights back in if you want to. If you change the lighting mobility, and that will add shadows onto it. But because they're movable, they won't receive it. So, yeah. Lucas, is it possible or even good practice to use Niagara for player collision damage for something like bullet hell, for example? No. I mean, you could, but no, I wouldn't. Just look at for bullet hell stuff, you're just using projectiles, so just use projectiles. No, you could use Niagara maybe, but it's a lot harder for not much gain. I don't know what the performance difference would be, but I would imagine Niagara being more less optimized for that. I can't say for certain though without time to work on it to say for give a better answer than that. Okay, next up we got JJ Titles. Hi Ryan, how can I make a UFO that when I'm in the area of the beam I get levitated up? Thanks, it would really help. Sure. Okay, so let's make a levitation beam. So let's make a new actor, and we'll do UFO, and we'll give this UFO a basic shape of a static mesh, sphere, like that, and I'm just going to squash it down and make it more UFO like. One UFO. Okay. So next I'm going to make it do the beam. So for this, there's loads of ways you can do this, but I'm going to do a sphere trace down. So I'm going to do a tick event and do sphere trace by channel. Start position will be actor location. Put that there. The end location will be the actor location plus negative however far you want the beam to go, so 2000 for example, and put end to end. Radius here I'm going to put in at 200, and I'll make it visible on debug for 1 frame. Hit compile and just see how that looks in here size wise. Drag it down, hit play. Okay, there's my tractor beam going on doing things. So we're going to make it so that when I'm in it, we're going to take control away from the player and just make them levitate up. So we'll do this and like that. And we'll do a blocking hit. Now for it to affect characters, I need to make the visibility channel work on camera, because that's what the player character is blocking. And then I'm going to take the out hit, break that, and take the actor here. And what I can do here is what can I do? Because it's on a tick, I don't want to do it all the time, so I'm going to promote that to a variable as hit actor, and when I go into here I'm going to test to see if this is equal to the hit actor, equal to the hit actor, and if that is not the case we're going to here. So if it's not equal to the hit actor, I'm going to set the hit actor to that one. Or if it's false, here I'm going to set hit actor to nothing. Blank. So it should only do it once, because once it's assigned it, that's it. It'd be fine. We can test that out here. If I do print string and do captured, and on here do a print string and do released. And let's test that out. It's my UFO. Captured, and captured again. Captured. Oh, hold on. It's because it's hitting the floor, that's why. I'll tell you what I'll do. Rather than a sphere trace by channel, I'll do a sphere trace by for objects. And plug that in. That's the end point. That's the new point. Radius 200. Plug that in. Plug that in. Plug that in. Debug for 1 frame. Object types will do make array. And we just do pawns. There we are. Hit play. Captured. Released. Cool. So when it does that, we're going to tell the hit actor here, we're going to cast to character, set movement mode to flying, I guess. What would be the best way of doing it? Go flying. Probably actually best to do it with physics based. Because I can't keep adding that. Shoot. Hold on, we're going to try something different. Keep that like that. I'll give it a release now. What I can do here, I can do this. So I'll get set act movement input there, and I can drag the hit actor here. Can I add inputs to this? No, I can't. You son of a gun. I guess I could do it with physics. Might be better. Let's have a look at the physics way of doing it. Set simulate. Physics. Can we not do physics? Oh no, you have to do the root, that's why. Get root component. Physics. If I can spell it right. No. I'm guessing I will have to cast this thing. Okay. Capsule. Set simulate physics. Turn that on. And then on the true here, we're going to take the hit actor and add force. No, not add force. Type in force. Oh, it's not going to work either. I need to take this, don't I? Pain in the butt. Okay, hold on. Can I do it from here? I can, cool. Add force here. And we'll do in the Z. I don't know what number this will be. Let's try 1000. See what happens. No, not enough. Hold on. No, maybe not. I guess you could just make a function on the player character, does it? Yeah, okay, let's try that way. Hold on. We're working out as we go. We're working out as we go. Cast to first person character. And then we want to create a function on here. Oh, but I don't really want to do a function on the player character, because then it won't affect everything. This will only affect the player character, so we'll just do it here for now. Custom event. And we'll do it captured. And so here we do set take the movement component, set movement mode to flying. I also want to disable all movement, stop all movement. Stop movement, there you go. it does that, returns to flying, and then on tick we'll do get movement mode, switch, come on, and when it is flying we're going to add movement input and give it the input in the Z here of 1, and let's see what that does. Oh wait, I actually have to call it on UFO. From there, captured. This is just a way, it's not the best way. I'll have to sit down and work out a good way of doing it. There we go. Whee! Off I go. And then you do the released one as well. So on here, do a released. And call it released. And what it's going to do is just set the movement mode to falling, for example, and that's it. Okay, so you do that. I'm gonna add my UFO, have a bit of collision on it. Probably doesn't have any collision on the sphere. Just go and add that. What the hell is that? There you go. Up I go. Oh. Well, you get the gist of it. There's a way of doing it. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. I wouldn't bother with an invisible platform. The problem with the platform is that the platform, if it moves up, it'll still be up when you go underneath it. Ideally, I'd work out a way of doing it physics based, or some way of capturing every actor and being able to tell every actor that goes into it, no matter what it is, to be sucked up into this thing. Physics seems like the best way of doing it, but I have to have a look. Rizzy IBN. Hi Ryan, does GitHub limit the repository's space limit to 2 gigabytes? I heard after that they charge for every gig. Have you ever experienced this before? I think, if memory serves, I haven't looked at GitHub for a long time, but if memory serves, I think that's only for business accounts. I think for personal accounts, you don't have that problem, I think. But don't quote me on that. I haven't looked at GitHub for a long time. LJed, hey Ryan, how do you move the pivot point of a static mesh? You go into a modeling program and move it there. There's no way in Unreal, at least as far as I'm aware, of moving the pivot point and saving that pivot point. You can move it temporarily whilst you're doing stuff, but that's only temporary. It doesn't actually keep it there. So you need to put it into a modeling program, move it, and then export it back out. That's it. Brendan Milligan, could you do some chaos destruction? I've had a really hard time, even after watching so many videos. I can't do it in this because I need to load up a different engine for it, but chaos stuff is on the way in video format. So keep an eye on that over the course of the summer. That is coming. Follow-up question from Robert. I guess would it be smart to do an entire game with no displacement and no normals, bake both into mesh, since UE5 dev says it compresses even more in nanite than the images do? Yes, that's correct. If you took the same mesh with the same amount of details, same triangle count, and looked at it in nanite version would be a lot smaller in size. As long as it's over a certain amount, like you'll notice it. So if it's over like 2,000 polys, you'll notice the file size dropping. But nanite is optimized for bigger meshes. So the more detailed the mesh, compared to its static mesh counterpart, it should be better. So UE5, but keep in mind now it does have some restrictions. You can't do any deformation stuff with it, so you can't do things like animations or chaos with it. You can't use opacity or translucency with it. So it is meant for literally static environment stuff. So keep that in mind. There'll still be place for other things like displacement, normal maps, things like that, but not everywhere. Vlad, hi Ryan, how would I make animation play and the player has to press a button at a certain point to make it change to the next animation, or if that fail, it plays a different animation? So this will be coming out this month actually in some shape for Patreons, because Patreons have voted this month video to be all about attack combo animations, so chaining animations together to do combinations. I currently don't do it here because I don't have the animation to do it on this, so I won't do it on this, but keep an eye out for that video. It will be coming out this month where I showcase the chaining of different animations. So if you time the button press at a particular point, it will let you do it, and if you're clever enough, you could probably work out how to do quick time events with that exact same method. Try out. Mike, I'm on search on how to make dust storms, but can't seem to find anything about it. If it were you, how would you do it? Haha, I'd not use, like Maiden was saying, I wouldn't use Niagara effects, at least not exclusively. I would use post-processing. So, because the problem with Niagara, if you want it to actually obscure vision, you have to spawn a ton of these things, which you could do. But you'd have to combine it with a post-process, I feel like, as well. So I'm going to show you what I would do with post-process material. And go into here. And I'm going to change the type here from surface to post-process. And we're looking at scene texture. And we're going to take the scene texture and take the custom depth. Not custom depth, scene depth. There's. So scene depth is the way the renderer knows what pixels are in front of other pixels. So if you go down here, you can see it for yourself. There. So the closer it is to the camera, the more dark the pixel is. And the further away, the whiter it is. Up to a certain value, then it loops. That's why you get this giant sphere shape doing weird stuff in distance for the sky sphere. But generally, the closer it is 1. It's closer it is black, then it goes to white, which is 1. So we take the scene depth here, and we'll take the color out and mask that to get just one thing. So component mask that to get just the R, and we'll do an if. Not an if, a divide, and I always forget the number for this. Let's start with 10,000. I know it's not right, but we'll start there, and we'll lerp linear interpolate, and that goes into the alpha. That'll go into emissive. And we're going to take the color of dust, so that plugged into there, and we'll take the scene texture and drag that up here. And for post-processing, scene texture here, scene depth needs to be changed to post-process input 0. What's this? Float 4. Oh yeah, make that a 4 float. Okay. Apply that. Turn the alpha up as well. Forever waiting for stuff to do stuff. Right, change it back to lit. And get a post process volume. And make it unbound. And then add the material. So you can kind of see it working. I just need to change that division number because I knew that was wrong. You can kind of see that haze coming in there. Ignore the sky for now. So yeah, its division is wrong. Maybe I have to do another 0. Possibly. Wrong way, probably. You can kind of see it doing its thing, what I mean here. Because this can't normalize, can it? It might do actually. Hold on, let's see if that normalizes. I don't think it does with scene depth. But something like this. Put that in there. Yeah, too much. I have to look at what the actual number is. I can't remember the actual number. But here we'd clamp the value there as well, stop it from glowing in the distance. That's still glowing. Why is that still glowing? Shouldn't do. Why is it doing that? At least you can see the kind of effect that's going to have. You combine this with the Niagara system and it'll look quite cool. For some reason I can't get this to do what I thought it would do. Hold on. Take scene depth. Because I can't plug that straight in there, I don't think. Double check that. I don't think I can. Let's have a look. Yeah, no. You do have to divide it because the numbers that scene depth outputs is the distance between the pixel and the camera. So if that distance between that wall and that wall is a certain value, that needs to reflect that. So for example, if I put that as divide by, let's do 1000, and then clamp that value between that and that, maybe that looks a bit more promising. I had to clamp in the wrong place. Yeah, I did. Had to clamp in the wrong place. So you can do like a dust storm like this. So if you combine this with a Niagara system, you're looking alright. I can't remember who actually asked for this. But there you go. This is how you can fake a fog. Like a dust storm. You can also do this for like snowstorms, nighttime. If you want, just general fog. So you can do it for all sorts of things. So let's do it with like fog, actual fog. Make it white or grey. But if you put like a Niagara system on the player as well, if the dust storm going down, it'll look quite cool. So here's a fog, it's like Silent Hill style. Spooky. Combine this with like a snow effect, it'll look quite cool as well, with snow coming down or ash, like a cool thing like that. It'll look pretty neat. Oh, got hit by the UFO. Whoops. Oh, I'm dead. I can't remember who asked for that. Hopefully that looks alright. Whoever did ask for that. I can't remember who asked for about I can't remember who asked for that, but hopefully you enjoyed that. Mike, there you go. Yeah, so this in post-processing, by the way, is very, very cheap. You can do quite a lot with it. It's very, very cheap compared to other stuff. So well done, Mike, for that question. Thank you. Hey Ryan, did you know a logic to follow or how to traduce C++ to blueprints? Did you know how logic to what? Are you saying how, like, did I know this sort of logic stuff beforehand, like from other stuff like C++? Yeah, so more clarification would be nice. Bernardo, question: how to make a replay feature? There are tutorials out there online. I recommend checking out those. They go into a lot of depth. You do need to go into the C++ code at some point, so bear in mind you need to do that. The way it works is it basically makes a network, a fake online match, and it replicates all the stuff over to this fake receiver, and that receiver then has a buffer which replays whatever it wants to replay. But you do need to go into the C++ version, so you need to get hold of the source version of the engine, compile it, and then say if you Google it, you'll find people who have done it a lot quicker than I'll be able to get up and running for you guys. So yeah, check them out. You have a loop for you have a for loop in C++. Easy, you can do it in blueprints. All in C++ can be made it also with blueprints. Your broken English is a bit tricky to read. You have a for loop in C++. Easy, you can do it in blueprints. All in C++ can be made it also with blueprints. Oh, or for example, if conditional is branch in blueprint, you know. Yeah. So there are some things that translate directly over, like for loops and things like that. Although with for loops and, well, actually, I guess for loops you can break, but with like switch statements, for example, you can break them a lot better in actual code. In Unreal blueprints, you can't break switches, or do what we do, like you do like a chaining effect with switches. You're quite limited to what you can do with switches in general in blueprints, but in C++ you can do a lot more. For loops, you can also do a lot more in the sense of the integer incrementing. You can change what happens there, and do more interesting stuff with that there. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I have no idea, sorry. But basically, most stuff you can do in C++, generic programming stuff, you can replicate in blueprints. It's only the extreme circumstances that you can't do, and it's very rare you would use those reasons. You can always find a workaround. That's my point anyway. Nicholas Street, have you done wall climbing tutorials like Spider-Man or Assassin's Creed? I've done basic ones in question times like this in the past. You can have a look back at my question times and see them there. Yeah. John Calentine, is there a benefit of creating interfaces in C++ over Blueprint interfaces? Because I use C++ for most of my classes actors, but I use BP interfaces instead of C++. I don't know. I can't say for certain, but at the level you're probably working on, you are fine to use either. Use whatever is easier for you to make games in. People will always have the argument of, do I do C++ or I have to transform everything over to C++ because it runs better or whatever. The performance of Blueprints is really good nowadays, and secondly, 95% of people using Unreal as a hobby, like everyone here and myself, are rarely ever going to need to optimize to that level. So I would not stress out about going, oh, is it better to use it for this or that? Just use what works best for you. Whatever helps get your game done. That's the main thing to take away from that. Do I know which question time it was, Nicholas? I don't, I'm afraid. It would be titled with it, I think. So if you go back enough, you should see. Yeah, see there. Vince Carter, isn't rendering taking up most milliseconds? Yes, it does. It depends on what you. Yeah, yes. It depends, but on a few things. But yes, rendering always is the stressor. Hi Ryan, how can I make a simple shop with only one item to buy? You just have an actor. When you walk up to it, you check your currency, hit the button, and you get the thing they're selling. I don't know. It's not really a shop. It's just just a thing that will do a check and then give you the thing it wants. I say we don't have time to go. We only got a few minutes left. But I mean, if you really that stuff, you can just follow the same shop stuff I've made and just only give it one item if you want. But it doesn't have to be that complicated. It can be a lot simpler. Connor, do you know how to make AI car stop at a stoplight? I've never done it, but if I was to do it, it would have the traffic lights. Each traffic light will have a box collision, which is keeping track of the state of the traffic light, and if it turns red, it will tell whatever's in the box to slow down and come to a stop. And all the cars behind that will then do a line trace, sort of like how self-driving cars work in real life. It does like a little line trace out and see what the car in front is doing and match their speed. So if they slow down, they'll slow down. That's the way I would do it. I've never done it before, but that would be my approach. Diego, hi Ryan, love your content, thank you. Do you know how I can achieve layers of fears effect, like when you look at something or an actor and the environment change behind the player? Ray tracing maybe. It's level loading. So when you look at something, you load a level, stream a level in. So it'll be this node. No, not well, we'll do it here. Stream level. You can load stream level by name or by reference, and that'll stream the level behind them. So make sure the level, when they put the box they need to walk in, and make sure you know which direction they need to look. And once they've done that, you just call this, and it'll stream the level in behind them, and that's it. Life Overflow, hi, I'm a new subscriber, thanks for subscribing. Do you have any tutorial for physical hit reaction in your channel? We did it once during a question time. I cannot remember the number, but if you go back and have a look at the titles, I think I would have made it one of the titles. He's saying you're having issues with ragdolls. They go crazy and shoot themselves with great force into the air. Any suggestions to fix this? If they're shooting stuff in the air, it means that they're probably clipping something that has the same blocking collision on it. That's usually what happens when you have physics stuff enabled. So if it's inside or something and you enable physics, it kind of like a magnet will go ping and push it out against each other. So that's usually the cause of that. So I'll check what it's overlapping and check its collisions. Maybe it's colliding with its own capsule component, maybe. I don't know. Like for example here, these arms can be, if you enable the physics on these, they're set to not collide with the capsule component when you do that. So collision preset here, set to ignore visibility channel. The capsule is in the visibility channel, so you can tell it to ignore that. Ooh. And you can also, it's told it to ignore pawn, and it again is a pawn, therefore it'll ignore itself. So check those things, make sure pawn is set to ignore if it's a player character, that is. Yeah. And final question from Bartasus1. Are you planning on making general game dev topics videos? Yes, so I go full time, from July, and one of the new videos that will be coming out every single week, which you got a taste of, which is devlog. So every Sunday I'm planning to release devlog, where I tackle generic game development topics, as well as review plugins, review hardware, review software, some sponsored, some not. Just general talk about my own development, my own skills, what I'm doing, and general like game design, level design, all that sort of stuff. You'll have all that content coming out in a weekly video format, as well as the podcast. I'm going to try and get that back up and running, and that will be covering content like that, with talks with other people from industry. But yeah. But that's going to be it for today's question time. Thank you very much for everyone's questions. If you didn't get your question answered, don't fret. We'll be back next Wednesday for another question time. So bring your questions along next week. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to catch all my video content before anyone else, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you'll find all of my content before it's released, as well as the archive of all these live streams like this one that you'll get up on there tonight. There's new project files that were released today on there, and that is the Shooter Bot AI series that came to a finish on Patreon. So patrons now have access to those project files at gold level. What else is coming out? The RTS series continues quite strongly over on Patreon as well, which is on episode 13, I think it is now. As well as many other stuff coming out as well down the pipe. This month has been a very stressful month. If you don't know, as I just mentioned, I'm going full time in July. It means I'm wrapping up a lot of stuff at the college I work at. So this month is very stressful. So bear with me. If I miss a message or an email or anything like that, I will get back to it. It's just a matter of I'm trying to get through it. So bear that in mind. But from July we're going full time, and lots of cool stuff coming your way. Been talking to the Patreons today about a new type of video coming out, which will be quite interesting to see your opinions on when it does come out. Lots of fun. So thank you everyone for tonight. You can tell it's late, for your input, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone, stay safe and good night.